Well, we're back with our favorite pharmacist, Thomas McDowell. Last time you saw him, he had 2 pharmacists, and now he has 3 pharmacists. You have his telephone number down at the bottom. And also, how about putting hours, because we're going to be talking about something today that some of you may want to call in and inquire. So it's 407-1111, and we'll get that on. But Thomas, it's good to see you. I know you've been busy, and with expansion and all to better service our Eastern North Carolina area. And tell us what we're going to talk about today. You had called, and Sandra and you and I have talked, and so things that this time of the season sort of works to our disadvantage, but maybe you can help. And that's respiratory and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're getting into some colder weather. We're mid-November, and with that comes a lot of respiratory viruses. So I was talking to Sandra recently, and she had mentioned some folks that she knew that were coming down with some respiratory illnesses, and so we're going to break down a little bit about what we're seeing, what the symptoms are, and then how to treat or support those disease states. And you know, they're common this time of year. The cold weather brings them, and we're primarily talking about flu, COVID, and RSV. And RSV might be a little less known to folks.
And it's been popular here recently.
And we're seeing an uptick, and RSV stands for respiratory syncytial virus. Usually affects children and the elderly, but it really can affect anybody. It's the most severe in those 2 age groups of the young and the old, but anybody can get it, and it can be pretty severe for anyone. It causes there's millions of cases, and there's thousands of hospitalizations each year because of it, and there's no medication treatment. So just touching on,
is that right?
No treatment, besides symptom support. So we're seeing a lot of folks that are coming down with the respiratory symptoms, and then they're testing for flu or COVID at the doctor or with a home test, and they're testing negative. There's not really an easy access over-the-counter RSV test, and a lot of provider practices don't really test for RSV consistently because there's not really any treatment for it.
Does the variable weather, one day is 34 degrees and the next day it's 62 degrees, and on my weather report I see the coming days is going to be 70-some, and then it'll be back. Doesn't changing weather sometime have an adverse effect on respiratory?
Well, if I don't say yes, somebody's grandmama might get me. That is a bit of a myth, a little bit of an old wives' tale, but I think that with those changing temperatures, you're starting to see viruses able to sustain and replicate. So that's really what's coming with the colder weather. A lot of these fall and winter viruses thrive in colder weather versus the hot, humid weather that we have. So that's one reason where you see it. But you do sometimes see folks that seem to struggle with that temperature change. I think with allergies too, it can.
It's like anything else. Your genes and metabolism and stuff.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Tell us, what is a typical treatment? Say, well, I know flu is shots and medication and everything. Any particular name brands that at this time or
yeah, so for flu, there's vaccines, of course, from really all ages. There's a regular flu vaccine for under 65. Which is kind of the regular dose. There's also a high dose, more potent flu shot for ages 65 and older. So it kind of helps them have a more robust immune response because they're more at risk. And as you age, your immune response is not quite as robust as when you're younger, so it's more potent. So with treatment, Tamiflu is typically a go-to. I will say Tamiflu doesn't cure the flu. It can reduce symptoms by 1 day, but only if you start taking it within 48 hours of
Catching it
symptom
early.
onset. Yeah, and so it doesn't eliminate it. It does cause some nausea, but it can reduce the severity and reduce the duration of symptoms. And there's a couple other medications for flu. It's still, never too late to get your flu shot. That's one way to protect from it. It's not a guarantee to keep you from getting the flu,
Yeah.
but it reduces your severity if you were to get the flu. If you've ever had the flu, it feels like you got hit by a bus.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've been blessed, don't know, better not say a whole lot, but I have known some people that swear that other than kidney stones,
Yeah.
the flu just, wears you out and can,
Bedridden for
Yeah,
days.
that's
and,
right.
And so it's not fun. So the flu shot can reduce the severity. So it's a little bit of a guesstimate on what strains are going around. That's what they're putting in the flu shot. So again, it's not guaranteed, but it reduces the severity if you were going to get the flu and could potentially prevent it. And so that is still beneficial for folks. A lot of people, still kind of thinking back years and years, they'll tell me, well, they got the flu from the shot.
I have heard that too, but
That can't be the case with an inactive shot. There's no live virus in the flu shot.
it's just speculation.
So back in the day, there were some live flu shots that theoretically could give you a mild case, but that's not what's used anymore. So that's a myth. It can make you feel kind of crummy for a day or two, but that's your body being tricked
Yeah.
into thinking you had the flu. So
The
you can
body
build
is an
antibodies.
amazing entity, isn't it? How
is.
it heals itself.
Tells you that you're sick, all the symptoms that it shows you. And so, with RSV, on the flip side, there is a vaccine, but it's only available for ages 50 and older. For in general, it's only approved, and it's a relatively new vaccine. It's been out several years now. Usually you're getting it late summer and the fall, just like the flu shot, because that's when RSV is circulating. So that's a vaccine that you want to look at if you're 50, 60, 70 to help prevent RSV. It's going around. It can hospitalize you. It can cause viral pneumonia. It is a virus. But there's no medication treatment for the virus itself.
Are there any new strands for COVID right now, or we're off that? We're just basically providing care for the previous?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's always something.
Yeah, it's always mutating. It's not as much of a constant strain change as what we saw early on. The vaccine that came out for that it is a new one for the fall and is most up to date for the strains that are circulating. But that could always several months change. It'll probably become a seasonal formulation, just like the flu. They'll try to guesstimate what the strains are going to be, what they have in, and they'll develop the vaccine based on that.
Well, are there any measures that you can take in anticipation that 'tis the season,
Yeah.
hadn't been affected, nobody in my family is, but if I take this, it may be vitamins, it may be, a non-prescription drugs that may help give you anti-repellents.
Yeah. About all you can do is just try to keep a healthy immune system and
make sure everybody's coughing.
Yeah, coughing, don't cough out, cough into your arm. Do your best to avoid, sick folks, which can be hard this time of year. But supplement-wise, there's a lot of immune-boosting supplements. Not a ton of concrete data on, but a lot of them are relatively safe for most folks. But check with your pharmacist if you're wondering if you can take something. We have one that's called ID6, Immunodefense 6. 6 ingredients in one supplement versus having to get all these different bottles. It's got vitamin C, vitamin D, B12, zinc, elderberry, and N-acetylcysteine, which is important for lung health and breaking down mucus. That's a pretty unique combination that you don't readily see, and we have that at Medical Park Pharmacy. So if you're looking for something to kind of help protect and boost your immune system, that's an option. Nothing, guaranteed to prevent the virus.
Well, I have had a couple of individuals in the last 45 days that have died from pneumonia. And I mean, understand they were older,
Yeah.
but you just hear pneumonia and I don't pay attention how dangerous they can be.
Yeah, if you start seeing your symptoms travel to your lungs and you start seeing the wheezing, and certainly if you get short of breath from one of these, viruses, you definitely need to get some medical attention. You can start with your primary care and go
We have
from there.
a call. Let's see. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask a question. I have a acid reflux medicine that I take, and the pharmacy I get it from, they change manufacturers, which is the color, and for a few days, I get the acid reflux because of the change, and I was trying to find out if that's what your pharmacy does. If you go with a cheaper brand, do y'all submit different manufacturers like just because that's what you got?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, yes, to answer your question, yes, we basically order from a wholesaler and we get what we can get, so to speak. So it is subject to change. There's a lot of different generic manufacturers. So if it's a generic acid reflux medicine, multiple different companies make it. And we typically have one, and it's what we carry for a good long time. But if for some reason that manufacturer is not available, or if there's significant price changes, we are looking to acquire something at a good cost so that we can dispense it and cover our cost, so to speak. But there is a chance that we have a different one than what you're getting or what you're saying didn't really jive with you. So you can always check and see, because we might have one different.
Anybody else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you heard anybody else experience the same thing that I do? Like I'm saying, it's about a 3 to 4 day period that I get acid reflux when they change the medications. And the thing about that too is, if you got an elderly person that's, well, I'm elderly, but I mean older than I am, 80s or something, the color change alone is like, okay, what does this feel?
Yeah, it can be alarming. We use a sticker and a communication note that we catch the patient at point of sale at the register to notify them of a manufacturer change, because it is alarming. You want to make sure you got the right medicine. And so that's what we do at our pharmacy to alert somebody about that change. I have had folks, tell me they feel like a different manufacturer seems to, work differently, but I mean, it should have the same ingredient and they're supposed to be equivalent, but, obviously you're the one experiencing the symptoms, so, I do see that occasionally, but it's somewhat rare.
All right, thank you.
Hey, thank you
Yes, sir.
for your question.
Thank you for your question.
That's important, because you have someone that you can get. We appreciate the caller, because Thomas has been around this a long time. Now, Thomas, we're about to using up our time, but how about, again, we got another call. You're on the air?
Yes, sir. Look, about I'm trying to get the cough. I'm trying to get away from using Trilogy. I was wondering, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm trying to get away from using the Trilogy, trying to wean myself off of it. I was wondering if you could recommend, like, what would be a good inhaler, like albuterol, and also if it's okay to use Trilogy. He thinks it's okay to use Trilogy like maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday instead of every day. But it's sort of like that.
Yeah,
I know
so
you're not a doctor, sir, so don't even say I'm not a doctor, because I know you're not a doctor. But actually, my the evidence of coverage says to ask the pharmacy about things like this.
yeah. Is there a particular reason you're trying to get off the Trilogy?
Oh, the cost, man, you don't know.
The cost,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, sir.
So, Trilogy's a maintenance inhaler, so it's typically one that you would take every day.
Right.
Albuterol is a rescue as needed inhaler, so it's more of a Band-Aid. It's not preventative. Trilogy's preventative. Albuterol is kind of just short-term Band-Aid. So if you were to get off Trilogy and you were having to use the albuterol frequently, that would not be ideal and could lead to some complications. Usually if you have to use the albuterol more than once a week, you usually need to be on a maintenance inhaler. Now, there are other inhalers besides Trilogy. There are some that cost less. And there's some that have generics out now, and Trilogy's one of the more expensive ones. It has 3 ingredients, so that's kind of unique.
And wait a minute, you said there are other less expensive ones than Trilogy?
There are some that could be less expensive. Depends on your insurance and what they cover, but like Advair, for example, has a generic. Symbicort has a generic.
Advair, Symbicort, how you spell that, please?
Symbicort.
Okay, got it.
And
yeah, I ask the next time I go to my doctor, I ask him about it. But you know what? Like I said, been trying to wean myself off. I do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
yeah,
I seem to be doing pretty good with that.
well,
That's got the
yeah.
formula for Blue Cross. I'm on the essential plan, with Medicare and then Blue Cross Essential. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I know you do, yeah.
Yeah, but
The next year, it's going into a tier, that tier 4 is going to be 25% of the original cost. And man, that's just too much for somebody on Social Security, Medicare. That's unreasonable.
I understand. Come by and see us at the pharmacy. We do Medicare plan reviews. Mike could help you save some money.
But we appreciate your call. We're going to have to move on. But listen, thank you for your call. And I think in looking at what our president's trying to do on drug reduction, I don't know if this is a drug that's in that.
Not yet, but maybe.
But that's going to reduce it considerably. But anyway, thank you and happy Thanksgiving.
What's going to reduce it?
Our president, Donald Trump's medical thing that he's negotiating, and several things have dropped like 80%. And so.
Well, is that going to come into effect,
Not yet. Trilogy's not on the list yet.
Yeah, not yet, but.
I know, that's what gets me.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Wait a minute. Diabetes and hypertension. You got them two, you got it made. You got COPD, you're on your own. Back in the bus for you, buddy.
Okay, thanks.
Look, enjoy it, man. I always enjoy it with Mr. McDowell's there.
Oh, thank you for watching.
Y'all have a good day now.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, those are 2 good questions, but right now, just in close, again, give locations. Now you can even announce your 3rd location if you want to.
Yeah, sure. So if you have questions for us about medications, vaccines, supplements, we've got a lot of programs. We have an adherence packaging program called MacPack, where we sort your pills by date and time, easy to tear strip pouches, deliver them to your home for free. And we're at 901 North Winstead Avenue, Rocky Mount Medical Park Pharmacy in the big Medical Park building on the corner on Winstead. And we're right there on the 1st floor, full service pharmacy serving the entire Rocky Mount area and surrounding communities. Our number is there at the top, 443-7979. We'd love to serve you. If you're tired of just being a number at your current pharmacy, come by and see us and we'll take good care of you.
Well, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving and hopefully see you in a couple weeks. But thanks for the callers and thanks for the information. And with that, we will go to a break.